Hi folks, how you doing? Hope everyone's doing good. I'm feeling good. Beautiful day here in the UK. So we're going to be making the most of it soon, hopefully everyone, because you never know, tomorrow it's likely to be raining. So make the most of it. Okay, on with today's review, which is on the Line 6 Powercab, which is basically an FR speaker. Now, if you're not sure what FR means, it means a full range flat response speaker. Okay, and there's quite a few of these on the market. I've used two. I've used the Powercab, which I'm reviewing today, obviously, and I've used the HeadRush 108, and I'm going to be talking about the differences between them in a little while. Okay, so the first thing that's different about the Powercab is it has an FR mode, which I use actually, but it also has cab simulators in there, speaker simulators in there. So it has like the vintage 30 model, it has creambacks, it has greenbacks. I think it has 6 different sort of models in there. So here's the first thing for me to say, I suppose. I use this in FR mode, and I never use any of the speaker models in the Powercab because, to be completely frank, I don't really like them. I think the cabs in my Podgo or say your Helix or whatever model you're using are of a better quality than the ones in the Powercab. So if you're thinking about buying a Powercab because it has a greenback model in there, I'd think very carefully about that because it's not great, in my opinion. Some people might love it, but in my opinion, I like to use it from an FR perspective. Okay, so comparing it to the HeadRush, which is just a simple FR speaker, there's no simulators in the HeadRush. It's much better. The Line 6 is much better. The difficulty I had with the HeadRush was there was a bass response in there that I just simply couldn't dial out, and the louder you used it, the more muddy the sound would become, and yeah, it was frustrating. The other advantage I think that the Powercab has is it feels much more like an amp in the room. So one of the reasons I think that is because the HeadRush is sat right in front of you as a monitor coming at you from this angle, and as guitarists we're obviously used to the sound coming from behind us. So in that sense, the Powercab is much more like an amp in the room. You can also like tilt it up so it's a more 3-dimensional sound, which I think is important. So yeah, it definitely feels much more like an amp in the room than the HeadRush. Does it feel as much as an amp in the room as an actual amp in the room? No. Okay, so it just doesn't feel as full as the amp in the room actually is, if you know what I mean. But it's closer. It's definitely closer. So I'm just going to go through a few sounds here now. So generally live, I like to do like I did on that intro jam basically, is take my sort of quite gainy sound and use the volume to get sort of cleans. We'll have a look at that in a minute, but firstly I'm going to run through my live tones, like a clean tone and a gain tone, and you can just hear how it sounds and see what you think basically. So this is my sort of clean tone if you want it to be sort of completely clean. I should say actually I'm using the Storm Shadow Vanquish Fusion, which is a great guitar. I'll be doing a review on the Storm Shadow guitars quite soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so here's a clean tone from the Podgo going into the Powercab. See what you think. Yeah, it sounds nice, I think. Okay, so that's the sort of clean sound. I personally think it's a little thin, but it sounds good. And it does sound good when you plug it into a PA from the Powercab into a PA, so because you get a more bigger sound. So out the front it does sound great actually. On stage it sounds better than a standard monitor. Okay, so that's the first one. So here's a sort of a rhythm, sort of AC/DC kind of, you know, sound. Okay, I think it sounds okay. I think it sounds pretty good. There is a little fizz on there, but I said that also a little bit about the Pod Go in my review. There's a little fizz on the top of the tone, I feel. But I think that comes as much from the modeler as it does the cab, you know. I think the cab is literally just pushing back exactly what I'm feeding it. So here's more of a leady sound. Yeah, it sounds pretty good, I think. Again, it's got that little top end fizz, but I think that's as much the modeler as it is the cab, basically. So overall, this is a good FR speaker. It feels much more like an amp in the room than the HeadRush does. It doesn't quite feel as good as an amp in the room does, but it's getting closer. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to score it a 6.5 out of 10. Now, to compare it to another speaker, I would compare the HeadRush at 5 out of 10. So, you know, it's a good investment if you're going to use modelers exclusively, I would say. I don't use modelers exclusively. I use them for, you know, smaller gigs and for recording, and it does a job. Great for rehearsals. It does a job. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10, I think is a decent score. Okay, so that's my review on the Powercab. Before I finish up though, I'd like to thank my new subscribers and the people who've been watching the videos. I really appreciate you people stopping by, looking at the videos and hoping getting something from them. I'm going to be doing a style profile this week on the great Jeff Beck, so please stay tuned for that. And obviously the competition's running. We've got some amazing entries in the competition. It's just getting better and better and better. So yeah, keep competing, although we know it's not a competition. Chris and I will be talking about our favourites soon. But when we do the video, we're hoping to run down everyone's and say what we like about everyone's entry. So yeah, please stay tuned for that because I think it's going to be good. And if you feel like entering, please enter. It's not a series, it's a bit of fun. And that's it really, you know, and the competition's going to be, I think it's going to be announced on the 4th of July, maybe, I think it is. So get your entries in before then, guys. All right. Thanks very much. Speak to you all soon. Hi, folks. How you all doing? Hope everybody... New viewers, very much appreciated. That's all I've got to say.